movies.
We actually
So
have
never mind.
we have 4 TV shows because Legends of Tomorrow and Batwoman started.
Oh yeah. I watched Legends tomorrow.
That's okay. We can skip Batwoman though because we don't always cover that. Looks like we're connected,
Yeah.
guys. Okay.
Yay!
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your patience. If you've been waiting around the wings, we had some audio difficulties. I couldn't get any of you guys to hear Philip, and of course, we want Philip to be able to chime in on things. So let's see.
Yeah. For some reason, my big old mouth wasn't getting picked up.
Now let's do an overall audio check real quick to make sure you guys can hear us. As you see, I've created another view so you can just see me and Philip side by side without our little view screen. Let's see here. Check. Let's see here.
Check.
Let's see here. Check. Let's see here.
Check.
There we go. Okay, yep. We're all in there. We're in it to win it, guys. Okay. All right, now just a couple of announcements. I already did kind of the opening spiel. First off, they have finally fixed the YouTube link to Twitch, so the previous episodes are back. Are on my YouTube channel at GamerSeuss on YouTube. You just type in GamerSeuss in the search box. Go to the Game Time list, and you can watch all previous episodes of Game Time. Also, a little upcoming announcement. This November 6th, which is a couple of Saturdays from now, is the Extra Life game day, which means on my channel I'll be streaming as much of the 24 hours of that day as I can handle with my health issues. That may or may not be a whole lot, but when I'm not here, I'll be hosting other channels, including the Cox Health and Drury channels for Cox Health's part of the Extra Life Children's Miracle Network Fund Drive. I'll mostly be playing EverQuest. However, I'm also thinking about doing a extra episode of Game Time. It may just be me. I might get Philip or Greg in on it too. I don't know. But it just kind of depends on how we're feeling that day and what other things people have planned. This is the first Philip's even hearing about it. So, but it's all for the Children's Miracle Network, which is, of course, the charity that I dedicate my site to, or my Twitch channel to. So it's for the kids. Come on in and watch, and all of your donations can go directly to Extra Life, or you can also, of course, subscribe and follow the channel, which helps spread the channel. And then I take half of everything the channel makes, and it goes directly into Extra Life, and the other half goes to maintenance and upkeep of everything in the site. I make no profit off of this channel, just to let everybody know. Anyway, we do not have Greg this week, as I already mentioned a little bit earlier. He is at a wedding out of town. I think he said Kansas City. But normally he would also be over at Holdfast Brewing Company this week. Instead, you can see Rick Bagwell and the 417 Gamers there playing games, and instead they're kind of covering for us. We always appreciate that. So go check that out. Now we're going to not waste too much more time since we spent so much time on technical difficulties. I think you already know who me and Greg and Lurch are, so I don't have to introduce us this week. So we'll jump right on in with Lurch's first topic. So let me go to our topic manager here, and it might take it a second to load just because of the reboots and stuff. Okay, here you go. You're on, Lurch.
Which one did you pull up real quick? Did you have the screens pull up, or is it just going to be R2?
Oh yeah, let me switch that, because I've got that set up too. That way you can see what. Oh, let's see. Now it's aimed wrong. Hold on. There we go. There you go. Now you can see what we're talking about.
Okay, cool. All right, so this should be a short one. Cyberpunk 2077 and The Witcher 3 PS5 version and Xbox Series versions are being delayed until 2022. And even then, we don't have exact dates. They're saying Q1 of 2022 for Cyberpunk and Q2 of 2022 for Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
So January to March.
Not too big of a
Cyberpunk,
surprise. Yeah.
and then April to
And,
June.
well, it's unclear if that's Q1 calendar or Q1 fiscal.
They're
if
the
it's
same.
fiscal, it could be a little bit later.
No,
It depends on the company. No, it's some companies fiscal starts like in February or something. So we should be expecting it in the first few months of 2022, or at least that's what they're saying now. It's hard to say. Like, they were hoping to make I'm sure that they were hoping to make it out by, at least with Cyberpunk, or no, with Witcher 3. They're probably one that tried to make it come out around the same time as the season 2 of The Witcher show, which I think is in December. But they're not going to make it. It's going to be a little bit late. But, keep on working on it, I guess. I keep getting encouraged to play the PS4 version, just play it on my PS5, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna wait for that PS5 version. That's gonna be might as well play the best one. I got plenty to do.
I've actually never played either one of these games, so I've not played any Witcher title.
No,
and it's been so long since I've played any Cyberpunk title, it's just crazy. Okay. We're going to go ahead and...
I'll tell you my experience. The Witcher 3 is a fantastic, fantasy game. And Cyberpunk, besides the glitchiness of what came out at launch, is a solid game with Keanu Reeves that is an RPG shooter thing. It's first person, and it's a lot of fun from everyone that's played it. But I want to wait until the PS5 version's out. All right, that's it.
Speaking of that, they've been running a commercial now for a new remastered game, but I can't see the name of the game in the commercial. But it's got Daryl from Walking Dead in it. Do you know what game that is?
Oh, yeah, that'd be the director's cut for Death Stranding on PS5.
Death Stranding. Okay, because I can't ever see the name; it's too small from my view.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, so I thought if anybody would know, it'd be you. Okay.
Yeah. I put in about 140 hours into that game on my PS4, and I liked it a lot. It's a very quirky, unusual AAA game. I paid the $10 to upgrade to the PS5 version of it just recently, but I haven't played the PS5 version of it just yet. But it was a game I loved it a lot. It's a very decisive game. Death Stranding is. Okay. Some people love it. People love it or hate it. It's not like across the board, but it's the most recent game made by Hideo Kojima, who created the Metal Gear Solid franchise and the Zone of the Enders franchise and plenty of other games too.
Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and move on because we're going to go quick. Like I said, we wasted about a half an hour on technical difficulties. Okay.
Yeah.
Coming up this weekend, this Saturday is Free RPG Day. Actually, why does it say the 16th? Today's already like the 19th, isn't it?
Today's the 20th.
The 20th. Huh.
Did you?
I just got this notification in the mail. It was late. Okay.
Did you?
Maybe I missed it. Okay. Well,
if mail's running behind.
I guess this is the mail from InWorld. It should have been on time. Anyway, for those who missed it, then you might be able to go to some of your local RPG stores and see if they've got some extra copies of the free stuff. Otherwise, I guess this is out of date. So we're going to go ahead and move on.
Whoopsie.
Yeah, oopsie. Next is, Sora and Smash Brothers.
Okay. I had to share this particular article just because I thought it was funny how it's described. But basically, I just want to say Sora, the new fighter, the final fighter for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, um, is awesome. I got to play him. He became playable on Monday. So anyone that is interested in Smash Brothers or Kingdom Hearts, jump in there now. You can play as Sora, and his play style is, in my opinion, a very fun, very cool thing. This article here, though, gave me a laugh because it's written by someone who didn't think they would like Sora at all. And they complained about how he's another. They were like, oh, I can't believe it's another anime sword, fighter boy, And like, he's got all the things. He's got the blade, he's got the spiky hair, and he's got, a counter move and, some combos with the slashing with the sword. But after that, he feels very unique from the other fighters. Has a very high jump and a very floatiness. The magic he uses really mixes things up a lot. And with his name being Sora, which means air, they really went in heavy on making him a boss in aerial combat.
And besides,
I wasn't too hyped about the character. Oh, go ahead.
Besides, people are trying to say there's too many sword fighter characters, but you know what? Sword fighter characters are the ones people tend to like the most. So, what? Stabby stab stab. Always fun. Yes, my girlfriend says stabby stab stab. Always fun.
So there's some. I was reading that there's somewhere around 20 fighters that use swords in this game out of the 89, which is a pretty high percentage for swords.
That's less than 25%.
I mean, that means, yeah. But even if it's a quarter of them use swords, that means the other 3/4 are gunners and melee people.
Right.
But I did feel like there was a little bit too many anime sword fighting characters. But he differentiates himself from the others in a lot of ways. And other than like Sephiroth is weirdly floaty, but other than that, he is the way his combos work and the way you use him, despite him having a sword, is quite different than the other fighters. He's not a Fire Emblem character, at least, because most of the other sword fighters are from Fire Emblem specifically.
Right, and
There's a lot of Fire Emblem fighters.
I heard it. Yeah. I think I heard it as Fire Emblem was taking over Smash Brothers.
Yeah, it felt that way sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to draw some attention that Sora is now actively playable for anyone that missed out or forgot, and he's really good. I think he's really good. He's becoming one of my favorites. I've just been playing with him a little bit just for fun. And I'm no by means a Smash expert, but I find him to be a very fun character, despite not being a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. So that's my two cents on it.
So I loved Kingdom Hearts, but I haven't played much Smash Brothers. Okay, then moving on.
Yeah.
Okay, this is another one I got from InWorld this week, but so it might be old news to some. Paizo's employees are trying to unionize because of unfair employee treatment, just like Blizzard and several other companies are starting to come out. The employees are starting to fight more and more for their rights, and it is in the aftermath of COVID, especially. It is very much an employee market because there's far more employees out there. But the jobs that a lot of the employees are willing to sit without jobs right now because of other options. And so employers are really looking to have to make the employees happy, and that's where they're feeling a little bit more leeway to go through and do these things like unionize and dispute some of the company's more shady practices, especially when it comes to discrimination and or harassment. Paizo is one of those companies. For those who don't know, Paizo It basically is a child company that was born from Wizards of the Coast through 3.5 edition Dungeons and Dragons. They were an offshoot company that had started producing the Dungeon and E magazines for a time while Wizards of the Coast was producing the main third edition game rules. And then they kind of split off from Wizards of the Coast, became a third party. And when 3.5 switched over to fourth edition, Paizo is the company that went and continued to make 3.5 rule stuff under the Pathfinder rulebook set. So Paizo is your Pathfinder group. And they also spun that off into a Space Age one called Starfinder. And there's now, of course, Pathfinder 2 out there. But yeah, they're beginning to unionize and do some. Right now, they're in talks to see if they're going to get a hearing and have the actual labor board come in as mediators, if it even goes to mediation or not. To see, first off, they have to verify that the people trying to unionize are a majority of actual employees of the company. Because sometimes people will come in and they'll try to get a union started and they won't have a majority, so they get non-employees to vote and stuff. So they always have to do a verification of the voters before they can come in and possibly do the collective bargaining in a unionized system. And this is what's happening is people are standing up for their rights more and more, especially in the tech companies now, which are some of the best employers you can get on with nowadays. You're not going to be flipping burgers or whatever. You're going to be actually working on cutting edge tech, whether it's video games or even the lower technical tech of tabletop games, because there's systems involved here. The human brain gets to be the computer that processes the system of a role-playing game or a board game or card game. But it's still considered kind of tech in a lot of ways. And these companies also have technical arms that make video apps and video games and stuff based on their tabletop products. So in that way, they're also tech firms. But they are looking to possibly unionize. And I figured since we've been updating everybody on what's been going on with Blizzard, it might be a good idea to kind of shoot some light on this too. So let them know that Blizzard's not the only one under these kind of targets right now. And it's for the rights of employees.
It's good to see more and more businesses, it feels like anyway, coming out and trying to fight for their rights like this. You know, more and more, not employees, or not businesses, but more and more employees of more and more businesses are coming out and trying to fight for their rights. And I feel like that can only help keep improving things as we keep moving forward.
Well, yeah, and the nice after effect of this, the side effect of that, is more and more reputable businesses are starting to just treat their employees better as a matter of course, because they don't want to bring in the union and stuff. So if they want to be the ones dealing directly with their employees, they have to make sure that their employees are happy.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the thing. And there's a lot of great companies out there that do exactly that. They do keep their employees happy. They get great perks, but only that, they get a decent working environment and a living wage. And that's really what we need to get through things. And if they can get a living wage, a decent working environment with no harassment, no prejudice that's really, big in the company, and it's stomped down on when it does occur, then they don't need to unionize, then they don't need to do class action suits because the company is handling their business. But when the company doesn't handle their business, it's nice to see that the employees are emboldened enough now to come out again and say, hey, look, we want what we deserve, and unions can be both good and bad, depending. Some unions are just like any other groups of organizations. Some are good, some are bad, some are crooks, some are actually out there for the employees, I mean, for instance, the mob was a big part of the Teamsters union. So, and that's historical, whether you like or don't like the Teamsters Union, we all know that the mob was involved with them. So you never quite know what's going on there. But on the other hand, a lot of our trade labor unions, like the pipe fitters unions and the carpentry unions and stuff, they do a lot to make sure that their union members are getting fair wages for the work they do.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see other companies taking advantage of that.
And it's not just about the wages of time worked, it's also helping them maintain a work-life balance. They're not being forced to work 20, 30 hours of overtime every week when they have families at home that need their attention too.
Especially unpaid overtime and, companies that don't want to give vacation time or decent sick leave, things like that. The unions give them all these other perks. They make sure they get their insurances. They make sure they get their 401ks. They make sure they get all the extra side benefits that makes a job, more than a job, makes it a career. A job is going to work for Burger King. A career is jumping into a company and working your way up the company and getting the requisite perks that come with it.
I mean, if you really like the food industry yourself, like say you want to be a chef, Burger King could be step one of a long series of steps. You start with Burger King, doing the basic stuff, move up into, I don't know, Olive Garden or something, and then work your way up to eventually being a chef at a fine dining restaurant.
Yeah, starting to work 2 and 3 star establishments, and then hopefully make it to the 4 and 5 stars.
I don't want to make this a big political conversation, but I still say, there's definitely skilled work that definitely should be fairly compensated for it. But even with at the very early stuff, even at the unskilled or low skilled work like Burger King, you should still be making, livable wages if you're working 40 hours a week, You should be able to make enough to live off of.
Well, that's why a lot of companies like that try to keep you just under the 35 hours a week thing, so they can say you don't have to make it. But you should still make a living wage.
Like what I was saying is, like, if you were to work 40 hours a week, the hourly wage of 40 hours a week should be enough to live on. If you're working 35 hours a week, you should still be getting the same hourly wage that you would be if you're doing 40 hours a week, just maybe a few little, differences and
benefits.
You won't be working as long. Yeah. So, anyway, that's a whole thing that we really could go into.
That's a whole can of worms.
Paizo, Paizo, the point is, Paizo is employees. You said they were trying to unionize at the moment, right? That's the base thing?
Yes.
Hopefully they can be successful in that and get the Paizo staff doing better. Since you mentioned this, I'm just make a brief mention. There's the studio that's developing the video game, the Guardians of the Galaxy video game, just switched to a 4-day work week to help give their employees a better work-life balance. And they specified they're not doing 4 10-hour days. They're doing 4 8-hour days. They're working 32 hours a week. And they're closed on Fridays now.
But they're still treating
them
like full-time
employees. They get the same opportunity. Yeah, they still get their benefits. They still get all that. Their salary, if I remember right, so they're not losing money.
Plus, and one day of the work
they believe
week,
that they can.
They're all getting one day of the work week to do things like doctor's appointments, go to kids' parent-teacher things, participate in other things, go get their nails done, whatever. Anything that they want to do that is not always available on the weekends, they can do during the week because they got one weekday to do it. So, like visit government offices.
It's something new. They just started. They either just started it or they're in the process of switching to that. I forget. I'm not sure where their exact point is right now, but it was something I was reading recently. And I think that's awesome that they're trying something to help, keep up productivity without getting burnout, They feel like they can keep their production on games on track still and their quality up by doing that way, because you're more productive during those 4 days than you normally would be.
A well-rested workforce could probably do 40 hours worth of work in 32 hours because of the fact that they're not going to be
Mm-hmm.
burnt out. So that's it.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move ahead, though, from this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
believe God of War is next. Let's see.
God of War. All right. So 2018's God of War is coming to the PC. This is kind of big. This is the first time a God of War game has come out to anything that wasn't PlayStation hardware.
Nice.
Obviously, this is going to be helping to promote the new God of War game that's supposed to come out next year in 2022. I don't remember the window time frame now for its release. There's so many dates to try to keep track of, but yeah, it's 3 years after the fact, but it's coming to PC with full 4K support, unlocked frame rates. It even says ultra wide screen support, all kinds of stuff. It's following in the steps of Horizon Zero Dawn, Death Stranding, Days Gone. We're gradually getting more and more PlayStation games coming to PC. This one, God of War, will be coming out on January 14th of 2022. So keep an eye out for that. If you have an inclination of God of War, if you've played the old God of War games, you haven't played the new one, or if you want to play the newest one in the best possible display and you got a badass computer, check that out. January 14th. I believe it'll be on the Steam store. Either way, you know where to shop for for video games on PCs. There's so many storefronts now.
If you're a PC gamer, you know where you get your PC games. Okay.
Yeah.
Now let's see. On to the next one. We're moving right along.
Yeah.
Okay, new book coming out for Dungeons and Dragons called Minsk and Boo's Journal of Villainy. This is the actual Extra Life special book this year. That means all proceeds for this journal will benefit Extra Life, which, as I said, was going to be game day this November 6th, a couple Saturdays from now. And so it's a book basically supposedly written from two character standpoint, but edited by a third character. Make this a little bit bigger so I can see it better. There we go. See, all proceeds go to Extra Life, Children's Miracle Networks. Since its inception in 2008, Extra Life raised more than $30 million for sick and injured kids. Okay. From the Journal of Legendary Ranger and his pet hamster. That's Boo. Centuries passed since the Baal spawn fought over the legacy of their father, Baal, the Lord of Murder. Two heroes witnessed the epic struggle firsthand. The Ranger Minsk and his faithful companion, Boo. Minsk and Boo were able to track down old friends and hated enemies and find out what they'd been up to over the past century. They've compiled everything into a journal edited by the traveler extraordinaire Volo Gedarm. So it's related to the Volo's guides. Included in his journal are 4 cities, including Athkatla and Baldur's Gate, 10 group patrons led by some of Minsk and Boo's old friends, a dozen new monsters, 6 arch villains, and 11 dastardly henchmen. So it's a nice little thing. It's only $35 softcover or $15 for the PDF. And you can get it for $45 hardcover, or you can get the combinations for... Right now, you can get the PDF and the premium full color soft color for the same price as just getting the soft cover. And the same thing's true with the PDF and the hardcover. So they're not going to charge you the extra $5 to get them both. So you can
either you can get the PDF for $15 or buy the soft cover for $35 and get the PDF for free, or the hardcover for $45 and get the PDF for free. Or you can just throw away money and buy the physical books without the PDF because it's the same price as with it.
Or you're not a PDF person.
So,
some people aren't PDF people.
uh,
So that
yeah, but if it's free and it's not taking up any room.
Yeah, because PDFs don't take a whole lot of room on your computer, but then again, there's some people that just don't like PDFs, so hey. Good thing about the PDF, though, is you don't have to wait for the shipping on the PDF. You can start looking at it now while you wait for the other book to arrive in the mail.
Yeah, but then you don't have the excitement of, was that the mail? Is there a package here?
I'm still just as excited. I'm just as excited. Yeah, not everybody's like me. I'm kind of like, oh, new D&D book? Yes, please. When? Now? Maybe? Yes.
Look at the window. Oh, there was just a cat knocking over something in on the porch. Yeah, why isn't my package here?
I've got the UPS guy in my sights. No.
like as soon as you hit checkout, you want to look out the window. Is it here yet?
Yeah. Get your spyglass. Ahoy, mateys! I be looking for.
I'll wait right here for the Amazon.
Yes.
Man, a couple more years, we probably can. Just fix the order and wait on the porch for it to be dropped off by a drone or something.
Yep, that's right. I be stalking the Amazon man.
Dude, I swear, I bought something. I bought something a week ago on Amazon, and it arrived about 8 hours later.
Sometimes, if you're close enough to one of their warehouses and it's in stock, they can get it out to you lickety split. That's one advantage we have here in Missouri, is we're not too far away from the Bentonville warehouse for Walmart. So when you order from Walmart, a lot of times it can be there the next day, because the main Bentonville, Arkansas warehouse is 4 hours away.
We ordered some shit from Walmart the other day, and Walmart apparently didn't have something we wanted in stock, so they had Amazon ship it to us. And then, but then we got refunded the money for that purchase, and in the Amazon package, it said, please accept our gift as an apology for Walmart being out of stock or something like that. And I was so confused.
There is a reason that Walmart rules the commercial market, and one of those is they have partnerships with even their big competitors like Amazon. Because technically, the only people big enough to compete with Walmart are places like Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
anyway,
let's see.
I think I got us a little sidetracked.
That's okay.
Sorry.
We're going to go on to the next one. Just remember, if you buy these books, 100% of the proceeds, so other than the cost to make the book itself, everything else is going to Extra Life. So get in on that. It's just like how the Humble Bundles usually go to some kind of charity or something. So remember that. Okay. Next we have Nintendo Switch.
Nintendo Switch. Okay. So this has been an interesting bit of news. Remember last week I talked about how they announced the Nintendo Switch Online Expansion Pack, which was, N64 games and Sega Genesis games being added to the service, but they didn't give us a release date or a price. We've got both of those now. Release date is pretty good, coming out the 25th of October, 26th of October, depending on your region. But the price has been very controversial because it's more than doubling the price of your online service. So if you had a single user before, for 12 months, it was $20. Now, for the expansion pack included as part of the online service, you're looking at $50 for 12 months for the addition of these N64 and Sega Genesis games.
So you're paying an additional
and then the family
$30.
pass is, you're paying an additional $30 a year to have access to these games.
And what's the base price for the family?
The family base price for the family, and let me check, make sure I get this right. I think the base price for the family was like $35 a year, and now it's going up to $70 a year or $80 a year. I mean,
Yeah, so it's about 45 more bucks. Um,
yeah, it's more than double. Either way, you'll be paying more than double. Quite a bit more than double than what you used to pay for SNES, and it still puts it at a cheaper price point than PlayStation Plus or Xbox Gold or whatever. However, what you're getting out of it is not as much, I don't think, because on those services you're paying, you're also paying for the online services and Nintendo Online. This also includes Nintendo Online services, but anyone who's spent time on it knows the Nintendo Online service is pretty lackluster. Like to
maybe
chat,
they've
I don't know if you've
improved
done
it,
this. If you want to chat on Nintendo Online, you have to use your phone. You have to download an app to your phone to chat with people through that because you can't chat through the Switch.
Mm.
Now the app will put you in the lobby with the other people you're playing online with, but that's how they handle online chatting with people on Nintendo Switch. It's kind of atrocious.
Is that because the
I
Switch
usually
doesn't
am
have a
playing with people I
microphone?
know, and I just get on Discord.
Is that because the Switch doesn't
I
have
don't
a
know why it
microphone?
is.
Oh,
I
I
mean,
don't know. Now
you could have a headset.
if you have a
You
headset,
can
you
use a
should be able to
headset. Yeah,
Yeah, but then,
it's. I'm not. Yeah,
but even if you have the headset, if the jack built into the Switch doesn't handle audio in, it doesn't matter if there's audio in on the headset. It'll only use the audio out. For the headphones.
I
So
mean,
because those are
even
binary plugs.
even if it doesn't do a mic, that's still a flaw on Nintendo's design. It should have. I'm not sure if it has a mic or not. I would think it does, but since they don't have voice chat online, but I mean a Bluetooth headset, like they support Bluetooth. They have Bluetooth built into the Switch. You should be able to use a Bluetooth headset and chat online or whatever. They could do it. I don't know why.
It partly
Curiously,
depends on their audio processors.
Yeah. Okay. So there's been such a backlash against it that the video on YouTube, on Nintendo's YouTube channel, that gives it a whole overview of this expansion pass, has a liked dislike ratio that when I last looked, it was like 17,000 liked and 86,000 dislikes.
Dang. Oh wow,
Yeah.
that means about 20% of the people liked it.
Yeah.
Less than
So
20%.
it's getting a lot of hate online. Now, for people who are into N64 games, Sega Genesis games, and Animal Crossing New Horizons, they're probably feeling pretty good for the most part, to an extent.
That's what I was gonna say. If these games are that important to you.
Yeah, Animal Crossing, the Animal Crossing New Horizons has a new expansion pack coming out. On its own, that expansion pack would be $25, but it's included in this online expansion pack as well. So if you subscribe to the online service, the higher level online service, you just get access to the Animal Crossing expansion paid DLC as part of it. So, like, if it's for me, like, say it's an individual, and it's not super useful to me because I don't play Animal Crossing, but let's say, hypothetically, I played Animal Crossing, and I was going to spend the $25 on the Animal Crossing pack. Instead, if I pay $30 for the subscription, the extra $30, I get that plus the N64 Genesis games.
The only
difference
is you gotta pay it again next year.
Yes. That is the big thing. Is there's no way to the games like these N64 games, and there is no way to purchase these N64 games on your Switch after this. This does bring up a lot of frustration because, like, one of the games that's available to play off of the service is Super Mario 64, which they were selling on cartridge and on the online store as part of the Super Mario 3D All Stars pack. But they were only selling that for a few months. They took it off the market after like 6 months or something. And now, we see why they took it off the market because they want to make sure you pay for the subscription fee if you didn't get in on that. Yeah.
Right. So
and I hate to say it, I'm still going to pay it. I'm going to pay it, and I'll tell you why I'm going to pay it. The reason why I'm going to pay it is because, in the 90s, I went with PlayStation versus N64. Like when I was a kid, I had to choose between one or the other, and I went with the PlayStation. And so I grew up loving PlayStation games, and I grew up loving Nintendo and Super Nintendo. But with N64, I didn't get N64 until sometime late, right? Because I've been playing the PlayStation. I had a PS2 before I got an N64. And then I only had a handful of N64 games. So this service has a lot of N64 games that are highly regarded as quality games that I've never played. So for me, I feel like I'm going to get my money's out of it, at least if I play take the time to play these games in the year. I'll get my money's worth out of it. But for people who already own these games in other forms or have already played them, I don't imagine it's going to be enough for a lot of them to pay that much of a difference,
Unless some of these are their absolute favorite games and their current copies are worn out. Yeah. I do know Animal Crossing is one of the biggest franchises Nintendo has gotten in recent years. It's very popular with the family crowd. It's very, very popular.
Yeah.
I hear it talked about all the time. I'm like, what's the big deal? But there's so many people that want to play Animal Crossing that might be enough of a selling point to keep it going for a lot of people. But next year is when the outcry is going to come. If they still have to pay it again next year, they're going to be like, whoa, wait a minute. What's this $50 coming out of my account?
It's kind of the other thing is like, how is this everything, right? Like, we don't know how much is going to come out down the line, Are they going to keep a steady editions of new Genesis and N64 games? Are we going to get more DLC packs down the line? Yeah.
Yeah. If
they were to come out and say,
go ahead.
Yeah, if they were to say, hey, we got some new DLC, that you could either buy on its own or it's included in this service, cool. Like, I'd be thrilled if they added some Super Mario Odyssey or Donkey Kong Tropical Tropic. What's the name of that title? Anyway, Tropical Freeze.
Yeah, I've got that one.
Yeah, Tropical Freeze. I don't know.
The Wii U. I own that one for the Wii U. It's one of the Wii U games I own.
If they were to be like if they added some new goddamn Mario Kart tracks, I'd be happier with this, Yeah. I wouldn't have a gripe.
So basically,
I'm kind of begrudgingly subscribing to it now, but I wouldn't be if we knew there was other DLC coming down the road that would be included in it, such as that kind of stuff.
They have to keep an eye out, in other words, for value add. If they can't keep the value add up, they're not going to keep the people subscribing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead from that. And I think that's through most of our major topics. Yes. Okay. We're up to my library recommendation for the week.
Ooh.
And everybody should probably recognize these sisters if they've seen this movie before. It's the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus. Bette Midler and her two cronies are witches who've come back to life after being, basically in suspended animation for years. They get brought back, and she's got a magic book, and she's trying to go for the souls of the children in order to give them, the three sisters, immortality. And it is a great Halloween favorite. It is now on Disney Plus. Which
really?
Got a lot of people excited. It has come back to Disney Plus. And of course, Although they still haven't started pre-production yet, they have still. Bette Midler has come out and said, for sure, they are making a Hocus Pocus 2. It's still not in
Yeah, yeah.
pre-production yet, but they are definitely making it. It's just still taking a little to get the ducks in a row. So, of course, take it with a grain of salt because until production starts, anything can be canceled in my book.
Yeah.
But they've been doing some other Pocus specials on and off through the years. They've had like a stage show Hocus Pocus uh, revival. They did an anniversary show, but the Hocus Pocus itself is now on Disney. It is a cute. It's actually an absolutely adorable movie. You can still watch it as an adult and get just as into it as you would when you were a kid. If your kids have not experienced Hocus Pocus yet, you're actually robbing them of their childhood by not letting them get a chance to check it out. I think it is one of the most beautiful, stunning Disney side projects. It's not part of one of their major franchises. And it's got Bette Midler, who she's an absolutely stunning actress, brilliant singer, and the three Sanderson sisters are sisters you love to hate. You really do love to hate them because they're so endearingly quirky and fun. And if you have not had a chance to see this movie, or if you've not seen it in a long time, and you're a Disney Plus subscriber, this is the one I'm recommending for our Halloween season. We're going to continue. I'll probably do one more Halloween related one next week before Halloween comes up on Saturday. But I had to throw this in the mix. It's a fun, lighthearted holiday
Yeah.
extravaganza for people.
It's a fun, lighthearted, spooky Halloween movie.
Right.
I recommend it to anyone.
It's absolutely adorable. You'll want to watch it with the whole family, and you might sit down and watch it 2 or 3 times because it's just that great to watch. The kids will get a kick out of it. They'll like the music. They'll like the talking cat. They'll like the book that flies around on its own and has its own personality. you know, there's just so many great elements to this that really inspires what we've lost in the newer days, what they used to call the magic of Disney. The
Yeah.
magic in this movie is an excellent example of what Disney and studios like it used to inspire in especially their family-friendly movies. This is a family-friendly movie that totally lives up to that, doesn't degenerate into crudity. It's just fun. It's not all violence. All the violence that is even insinuated is only insinuated. You don't actually see a bunch of violence. You see a light-hearted comedy about evil witches. They didn't
Yeah.
even just turn the witches good. They're still evil witches for this story. And no offense to any Wiccans out there who also identify as the word witch, because witches are not by default evil. But this is a lighthearted, fun, quirky little romp that you can go on with your family, and
Yeah.
they'll thank you for it. Hey, what's up, All Ranger? Good movie indeed. Yep, absolutely. You said it, buddy.
You mentioning this witches movie, I finally watched Rob Zombie's Lords of Salem movie, which is about witches. And it's nothing like this. It's a witch movie that's uh very R-rated.
Yeah,
But not in the
that's night
ways
and day.
it's a very different movie. But
Well,
I
it's
just
Rob
want to mention
Zombie.
this shout out to that movie. It was better than I was told it would be. I was told it was a crappy movie, it was his worst movie, but I think it was a great movie.
I
I
liked
felt
it better
like
than Devil's Rejects.
I felt like Lords of Salem was kind of like a modern Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah, I could see
You ever
that.
seen Rosemary's Baby?
Oh yeah.
Um, it cinematography thematically, story-wise, it was very much like a modern Rosemary's Baby, but I felt like was better than Rosemary's Baby.
Indeed.
Um,
Like I said, I liked it
but
better
yeah,
than Devil's Rejects, which was also one that Rob Zombie was a
yeah,
part of.
yeah, and it's
So
it's not like really blood slasher. It's not a slasher horror flick like most of Zombies'
it's not a
past
bucket
movies
of
were.
blood movie. It's not a bucket of blood
Yeah,
movie. It's not like a Tarantino Rodriguez
what a
type of movie.
suspense.
This is Rob
Yeah,
Zombie being a little bit cerebral and a
mm,
lot of existentialism. But
yeah,
yeah, I get you. I get you. But we're going to move ahead now.
yeah.
Looks like All Rangers really enjoying the talk this week. You'll also have to make sure to tune in on the 6th All Ranger. I'll actually be doing the Extra Life broadcast for as much of the 24 hours as I can handle with my health, and I'll host it out to other channels when I can't. But just to let you know, because I know you're one of the ones that have missed my more regular shows that I have been doing lately. Okay, we're
Well,
back.
thanks for joining us, All Ranger.
Always. Now we're going to the main media segment of our show. This is, of course, the spoiler section, so expect spoilers. We're not going to hold back.
Spoilers.
We've got our normal helping of Stargirl, and Supergirl, but we also have the return of Legends of Tomorrow because the new premiere was last week
Legends.
on Wednesday. Of course, since we did the show on Wednesday, and we didn't get to see it till Thursday on the stream. We couldn't review it last week, so it's always going to be a week later that we do that. Batwoman also started too, but we had kind of stepped back from reviewing a whole lot of Batwoman. So maybe when we need a little bit extra content, I might. But this week we started late with the technical difficulties, so we're not going to touch on Batwoman. But we will start with Legends of Tomorrow because it's the first one in the sequence that we've watched. It's the one that's the oldest in our mind, although I rewatched it today just to be sure.
I also want to give a quick call out to Fandom. Did you watch anything from Fandom this week or in the last week?
I've watched a few of the video releases for up and coming stuff, but I haven't watched any of the actual footage of Fandom.
Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, I watched like trailers and teasers and stuff. If you guys haven't kept up on this, just in the last week, DC has put out a teaser trailer for the new Flash movie, which looks awesome. It has there's a shot that I think is the back of Michael Keaton's head as Batman.
Yes. There's the
it's
Batman
got
movie.
Yeah. There's the Batman with Robert Pattinson,
which I'm going to take that with a grain of salt because I'm not the biggest Pattinson fan, but hey, he might pull it off. And then, of course, there was the Black Adam teaser.
Oh my god, that Black Adam teaser was cool.
Oh my goodness, yes. So DC fandom.
More importantly than how cool that looked, the learning that realizing Pierce Brosnan is playing as Dr. Fate in that movie.
Yeah, which basically means because of some of the other actors mentioned, we know that the JSA is going to be in this movie.
Yeah.
Because we
got Hawkman, Hawkgirl, Dr. Fate. Fuck, who else was there? There was a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Dr. Fate's the one that got me stoked.
Oh yeah, and Pierce Brosnan's a good choice for that too. Pierce Brosnan
I feel like he's
really
a good pick.
British actor. Okay, yeah, Fandom is excellent. But anyway, we're going to go and start off with Legends of Tomorrow. Of course, when we ended the last season of Legends of Tomorrow, they had just at the very tail end of the show had their ship destroyed while they were in the Old West. And they come
1926, Odessa, Texas.
Odessa, Texas. They come to find out that their ship's not going to just fix itself.
Yeah.
And they also find out that their little teleport pads will not teleport them to the other version of the Wave Rider. So they are locked in 1826. And so they're going off to find scientists who can help them basically discover time travel to get back to their own time. So they become
Yeah.
bank robbers.
Yeah.
Yes.
To pull it off. Well, they become bank robbers to pull who was that? Hoover.
Yeah.
Hoover's attention away from Gloria's house, which was
Well,
Spooner's mother.
not only that, so that they can get a hold of that basically black box from the Wave Rider. In order to get a hold of that black box, they needed to become bank robbers to get into the sheriff's office to get it because it had been picked up and turned into the sheriff's office.
They managed to get the box by Nate pretending to be the lead of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover or whatever.
Well, not only that,
that's how they got the black box.
They also started to do this circus thing, but anyway, they did some circus stuff. They did some bank robbery, and they got going. But the quirkiness of the show is there now, as a lot of people may have noticed. Rory is not supposed to be a main character this season, although he is supposedly slotted to do a few guest spots. So he's going to be in and out of the season. He's just not a regular on the ensemble cast anymore. And of course, we know, although we've not found him yet, that the actor that plays Constantine, Matt Ryan, will be coming back as a new role at some point during this season. So those are the big things that are on everybody's expectation list for Legends of Tomorrow. We know Legends of Tomorrow is not everybody's cup of tea. It's a little too quirky for some people when they want to see the darker, more gothic DC kind of stuff, or they want to see the more wholesome but not as lighthearted stuff as like The Flash. They're not necessarily looking for the ultra quirky and weird that is Legends of Tomorrow. Not everybody can handle that. We personally like it, but we know it's not everybody's cup of tea, and we can't blame you for that. Everybody's got their own taste, even if you're wrong. No. Next up is Supergirl.
Oh, we missed the biggest thing. At the end of the episode, they accidentally killed J. Edgar Hoover.
That's it. You're right. I did leave that out. That's a big bomb.
They're concerned about it's a big ripple effect on the universe. Him dying. They're trying to make small ripples.
Yeah, but
that's a biggie.
For Ava's sanity, what little there is of it, they are trying to keep a journal of everything they change so they can go back and change it back as best they can. Because Ava's freaking out about maintaining the time stream, where the Legends are used to screwing up time and just going with it because they do it all the time.
Now they're going to have to find a way to save him after they get time travel again to keep time from getting too broken.
Ava is showing her time bureau foibles, but it's okay.
Yeah.
They will handle it, I'm sure. All right. Now.
Oh, there's one more big thing.
Yes.
Astra tried to use a resurrection spell on the ship, and it didn't fix the ship, but it did create. Yeah, it brought Gideon alive as a human being, like a naked woman in the field amongst the broken parts.
An avatar or personification, yeah.
Broken ship parts.
Yeah, so we don't know where that's going to go.
She didn't say anything. She didn't say any lines. She just kind of like stood up and kind of looked around, and then like Astra and Spooner like at the same time went, Gideon? And then credits. So we don't know.
I thought I heard.
We don't know where that's.
Yeah, I thought I heard Sarah say it too, but I don't know. Anyway,
Sarah wasn't there. Sarah was with Hoover.
Okay, that's why.
But
it sounded like Sarah said it. Okay, so
So
now Supergirl, of course. Um, we were first off. We found out who the secret admirer was, who sent the watch, and it wasn't Luther. It
big.
was what?
No, it was Luther.
No, it wasn't. It was her herself. She announced that it was her herself that sent it to her. Nixley sent it to Nixley.
But it was later in the episode, whenever they have, because they're after the Dream Totem, and at the very end of the episode, it was revealed that Lex was behind it.
Okay, I may have
Lex
missed
was
that
the
part.
Lex appears in front of Nixley from the glove, like basically uses the glove to appear there.
Okay, so I may have missed that
And
part.
now
I,
he's
I, I think I
yeah
might have dozed off at the tail end of it and missed that very last little bit. You know how I can be.
yeah.
I even watched it
So
twice, but
I don't know if that Nixley inside of the suit was like an AI that Lex built, or if there was some time travel shenanigans that allowed him to have a version of Nixley in a suit. I don't know. I don't know exactly how that worked yet, but um,
so
I'm
Lex
sure
still
we'll
is
learn more.
involved.
I think, yep, yep.
But anyway, the big thing is Nixley finds out that she needs to go into the dream realm in order to get the dream totem because that's where it is. We find out that also from Dreamer's sister, who is an expert on the as much of the dreaming and the dreamer as anybody can be, and she studied all the books and stuff because she prepared her whole life to be the dreamer, only to have her quote unquote sister take it, who was not born female, because a lot of people forget Dreamer is a transgender, but and which makes this one of the most inclusive shows in all of TV.
Yeah,
But Dreamer, of course, and she didn't try to take the role of Dreamer, she just got it. But she hunts down this expert, and it turns out to be her sister under an alias. And if she finds out that the totem for dreaming is in the dream realm itself, so she goes to take, and she ends up taking her sister with her to help her guide through the path. And it turns out to be that her sister just wants to try to grab the totem for herself to get all the powers of Dreamer, but it doesn't work for her because she's not pure of heart.
yeah,
Nixley, on the other hand, goes to this sleep lab and uses the glove to interface with the sleep study device that's supposed to let you read people's dreams to create a portal into the dream realm. So she goes in. So we got them as two teams racing for the prize in the dream realm. Well, when she opens up the dream realm, they let out a nightmare creature that looks like this weird, freaky nightmare static that keeps growing and growing and growing. So it's like not quite Godzilla size, but about halfway there.
yeah,
And it's heading straight to a nuclear power plant because I guess nuclear energy senses like dream energy to the dream creature. So the nightmare creature is going, and it can cause a nuclear meltdown. And the only thing that the Super Friends can find to do to stop it is to take some keyhole satellites that are up in space that had been set up with these force field projectors and put a force field dome around the nuclear power plant and basically trap the nightmare creature before it could get to the power plant itself. So you're seeing like food trucks cut in half with people because the shield basically cut right through them.
yeah,
And the nightmare creature goes invisible. And while it's invisible, it's also undetectable. So we're not sure where the hell it is. And now the government is pissed at the Super Friends for just unilaterally making this decision and cutting people off and all this stuff. And Supergirl is trying to explain to him, and says, look, this is like we had no choice. It was going to cause a nuclear meltdown. Would you rather we let them blow us up?
yeah.
But it doesn't seem to be getting through to anybody. They think that the Super Friends can just fix everything with a snap of their fingers, and they can't. Now, on the other side of things, Kara has arranged to be the reporter to the negotiations between Court of Maltese, and was it Tanzania?
Fuck, I don't remember.
Kosnia.
It's the two
Kosnia.
countries that it's
Kosnia.
the two countries that they were dealing with in the previous episode with the nukes.
It was Kosnia. It's Kosnia and Corto
Okay.
Maltese. And so she's going to be the reporter to come in and discuss those talks with them and basically be the reporter emissary that basically brings everybody hope by talking to them and everything based on some old talks that she remembered being done previously by CNN and Newsweek and stuff back in the day. And unfortunately, her schedule to do this is conflicting with her schedule to be Supergirl, as always happens. Anyway,
That's the problem with secret identities.
Right? And at the end of this one, I don't recall the very tail end. I think it's another place where I dozed off. Them not letting us view it at 1 a.m. when I'm awake to watch them is really screwing me up.
Yeah, no kidding. Let me think.
They make us wait till after 6 a.m. to watch them now.
So they were given 12 hours. The government gave them 12 hours to get the dome down and deal with the monster.
Or they were going to shoot
bring
the
in the
satellites.
National Guard.
They were going to shoot the satellites out of space.
Yeah, they were going to something like that. Somehow they were going to shut down the dome themselves and circumvent what the Super Friends were doing, and then they were going to attack the Nightmare Monster themselves. And they managed to get there to where they're like in the nick of time. They got a portal open for the Dream Realm, and they have something that's luring the nightmare creature into the Dream Realm, and the dome is being taken down by the government. And then as the monster is going into the Dream Realm portal, fucking National Guard helicopters come flying in and start shooting it in the back, causing it to turn around and ignore the portal. If the National Guard had just not shot them, the monster would have just walked right into the portal and been fine. But instead, it turns around and starts, swatting at the helicopters.
You're like flies and mosquitoes
and like
to it.
Supergirl. Yeah, like Supergirl and Martian Manhunter are trying to deflect bullets and trying to get them to stop firing so that it can be distracted by the portal. But they're not listening, and so then Supergirl has to like zoom around and hit it in the chest hard enough that it knocks it into the portal.
Right.
But while she was gone, she missed her interview she was supposed to have. Trying to put the Nightmare Monster away. She missed her interview with the president of, Machu Picchu or whatever.
Corto Maltese.
Yeah, Corto Maltese and Kosnia. So she misses that interview, and she's starting to get to where she's feeling too ripped apart between the two different jobs, and she quits her job. So she quits her job as a reporter, tells the boss lady to give the job to William for the rescheduling of the interview with those two people. So she can focus on being Supergirl for a while.
And she could always end up still doing freelance and selling it to the highest bidder stuff later, but that way she works on her own schedule.
Yeah.
That's what Perry White did for a while besides he came back as the editor.
Yeah. Well, part of what sucks here is the reason why Kara had that appointment is because Kara really, really, really pushed Andrea, the boss, to give her this interview, to let her do this interview because it's going to bring hope to people, blah, blah, blah. So Andrea's like, all right, fine, let's schedule it. 2:00, blah, and then doesn't show up. And so Andrea's like, you're the one who pushed so hard to have this. You're the one that convinced me we need to do this, and you weren't there. And so, Kara could have been able to get by, I think, if she didn't
Wasn't
book
Supergirl.
herself for those kinds of schedules.
If she wasn't
Yeah.
Supergirl.
Yeah, that too. Right.
Now,
I'm just saying she could still be a great reporter and not schedule herself these kind of dedicated things like that,
now
Stick to what she was doing before.
Because I missed the tail end of it, this question on my mind is, who ended up with the Dream Totem?
Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor did.
In the end. Yeah, so in the dream world, they got the three confronting each other. Nixley, Dreamer, and Dreamer's sister, whose name I forget. And Nixley's gauntlet has some kind of contraption that allows it to destroy the ward around the totem and can then just snatch it up. And she successfully does. She successfully steals it, and then she battles Dreamer for a little bit, and then gets knocked on her ass. And then the little, the voice of Nixley inside the armor says, "We gotta go. You can't win this fight." And so then Nixley says to them, "See you later" or whatever, and then teleports out through the floor, and exits the dream world. And then she's back in her ship, and like the gauntlet's like holding on to it, and I think she's trying to get it pried out from the hand or something. I don't know. But the glove she's not wearing anymore, but the glove is like sitting there on a table holding the thing. And then like as she's tinkering with it, I think she's trying to get the hand to let go of the stone. Suddenly the rest of it kind of builds out, and it looks like it's conjuring the rest of the armor, but it's actually Lex Luthor. And now he lifts up his hand and he's holding the Dreamer stone totem, Dreamer totem. And Nix is like, "Who are you?" And he's like, "I am your key to everything," or whatever. "I am your only hope to win," or whatever smug ass shit he says to her. To indicate that he's gonna intend on helping her. But Lex, he's not gonna really help her. He's gonna help her as far as it helps him.
I gotta say, John Cryer makes
and then that was that's pretty much it.
He makes an interesting Lex Luthor. Knowing some of his earlier work, you never would have expected him for Luthor. And then he came in and did another. Right? He was Ducky and frickin' Pretty in Pink. Come on. But
he was the silly guy on 2.5 Men for all those years.
Yeah, John Cryer's been in a lot of things, and you never think of him as evil supervillain. Although he played Lex Luthor's nephew in one of the Christopher Reeves movies.
Really?
Yes. In the Christopher Reeves movie, where Lex Luthor created the Nuclear Man. So I'm thinking
that's number 4.
4.
It's 4.
Lex Luthor's nephew is John Cryer. So it's a funny little link.
Superman and the Quest for Peace.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, John Cryer played his nephew there.
That's the worst Superman movie.
Pretty bad. I actually liked the Richard Pryor one. Superman 2.
That was part 3.
Was that 3? Oh. But that one was good. I liked it. When Richard Pryor starts talking about chemicals. That's what we need. Chemicals. Richard Pryor goes from a nothing to a super hacker in no time at all. I wish hacking was that easy. I've been doing this stuff all my life, and I can't hack that good.
Right.
Anyway, and I'm considered really good.
He wasn't good enough to not get caught by his boss.
But that's because of what he did, not how he did it.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, so that is Supergirl for you. Now we're going to end this week with Stargirl, and we've got a whole 13 minutes left. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Stargirl. Now this is an intense episode. Now this is the second to the last episode. There's one more. I think there's one more Supergirl, maybe 2, and one more Stargirl.
Although I think Stargirl got renewed for another season, right?
Yes, it's up for another season. But this is the last one this season. First of all,
Yes.
this is intense because if you remember the end of the last episode, Stargirl got dragged into the Shadow Realm while fighting Eclipso. Well, in the beginning of this episode, um, Pat and Jennifer show up at the house, but conspicuously, Jennifer is the one holding the cosmic staff, which makes Barbara lose it because her
Yeah.
daughter is gone. Beth says in one part of this episode, "My goggles are full of tears." I mean, because it's hurting him that much.
Yeah. She says, "My goggles are full of tears, but I'm afraid to take them off."
No, yes. Mike is like, well, if I could just get a hold of the Thunderbolt, I could fix everything. That's his idea for fixing everything. But
Yeah.
there's others saying, well, let's get a hold of the Shade because maybe the Shade can get. Because in this episode, Beth talks to Dr. McNider through the goggles and gets reassured that he's there with Courtney in the Shadow Realm.
Yeah.
So
So
they know
everyone
that,
thinks that Courtney's dead. They don't recognize her being pulled into that dark hole as going to the Shadow Realm. They
she dissolved into a puddle of
think that that's just
blackness.
death.
Dissolved into a puddle of
Yeah.
blackness, yeah. But she's in the Shadow Realm, so they start working to try to find a way to get her out of the Shadow Realm. So they start looking for the Shade, and they ask, well, but why would the Shade help them? And Beth says because, well, you know, Dr. McNider even thinks of the Shade as something of a friend and everything and stuff, and he's the only one that can possibly help because he can open up a portal to that realm. Well, then we go to the realm of shadow, where Courtney is learning the ropes of the realm of shadow, and she's not liking these ropes one bit.
No.
She's not liking this at all.
Those are rough ropes.
Because she goes and she sees Cindy and the fiddler and the fiddler's mom / son, because they were both the fiddler, I guess, for a while.
Yeah.
And when Cindy goes to fight her in the Shadow Realm, she cuts Courtney with one of her wrist blades, and Courtney bleeds. Cindy's like, "What the fuck?" I says, "Wait a minute, people don't bleed here. You're real."
Yeah.
And then the Dragon Master shows up and starts stalking down the hallway, going to go torture Cindy some more. And Cindy says, "Nope, Daddy, sorry, I'm out of here." Grabs Courtney and goes to the door, and they zap somewhere else, which is Cindy's house. And Cindy basically is trying to convince Courtney that there's no escaping where they are. That in some ways it's a perfect place for her because she's killed her dad thousands of times and she's killed Courtney thousands of times. So hey, she's kind of in heaven. But she thinks that what's the thing the Bible calls it? Oh yeah, purgatory is what she's referring to, the Shadow Realm. So Courtney leaves, and she encounters the child version of Eclipso, and he kind of takes her on a little tour of the Shadow Realm, where she can see reflections of people in the real world who have basically been lost, their psyche's lost in the Shadow Realm because of the lies and shit he's told. So she sees Yolanda basically sitting on a bed, giving up, not talking to anybody. And then she goes and she sees
Rick,
our
I think
man,
is his name, right?
Rick, yes.
Yeah, in the jail
Rick,
cell.
in the jail cell and everything. And Eclipso's like, "Don't worry, it's not your fault. It's my fault. I just enjoy watching my lies and shit, you know."
Yeah.
And
I like
then,
watching you all suffer from nothing but lies.
yes.
Or something
And
like
then,
that.
They end up, Dr. McNider and Courtney are kind of working together. And suddenly they see a wall start to turn into like almost a movie screen portal. And that's because on the other side, the Shade is using the last of his remaining energies to open a portal into the Shadow Realm. He's standing there, kind of short-circuiting out as he's sending it out and stuff. And they're about to go through the portal when Cordelie's like, no, Cindy's still here. So she runs to go help Cindy, and everybody's like, no, don't save Cindy. Save yourself, goddammit. But she's like, nope, I'm the hero. I got to save Cindy. So she runs, and she grabs Cindy. Says, I found a way out of here. Let's go. And they go. And we pretty much end the episode with, well, first Courtney goes through the portal. Then Dr. McNider goes through the portal. Then the last person through the portal is Cindy. And that basically is cut, roll tape. For that episode.
The Shade dies.
Well, yeah.
The Shade dies after that.
He basically expires. And
he
turns
says,
into a puddle of shadow.
He says something to the effect of, tell them I died doing something good, or something like that. I tell them,
And other than that, his other main line during the whole episode was how much Barbara reminded him of his daughter. His sister, or whatever.
Yeah, his sister.
His sister. But other than that, that's mostly what the Shade did this time around. So, in a lot of ways, we were right about the Shade. The Shade was not exactly a hero. He was much more of an anti-hero, but he was not directly a villain. He was kind of one of those.
You didn't know that Dr. Midnight was alive?
Yeah, he didn't realize that Midnight had survived so long in the Shadow Realm, or he would have tried to release him sooner. Yeah. And unfortunately, with the destruction of the Black Diamond by Eclipso again, he has no way to regenerate his power, so he only got the little bit of power he absorbed while the diamond was briefly back together right after Jennifer put it back together with the power ring. So
it wasn't recharge himself for very long.
If he could have recharged himself, then he wouldn't have killed himself opening up the portal. But because the Black Diamond got destroyed again, his connection to the Shadow Realm was such that he couldn't regenerate his powers. So he was slowly dying in that freaking movie theater chair as it is. Now, one thing they never explained through the episode is they used the power ring like a bloodhound to find the Shade, but the Shade was actually detected in 2 different places in town. But they never explained, because he was in the first place they went to. So we don't know what's at the other space. Now, the other place could have been Eclipso kind of detecting as the same kind of energy. Or the other place could be another fragment of the Shade. We still might not be done with the Shade. This is DC. You're never done with anybody in DC.
Yeah.
So
not that we're talking about Titans right now, but it's something I was noticing watching this latest episode of Titans. I was like, I think every Titan has died in this season and then came back to life in one season alone at different times.
Is Hank back to alive?
I don't remember.
Hawk?
I also can't remember if he survived.
I'm Hawk, like 4 episodes behind. So anyway.
Oh, yeah.
This is, I've been watching MacGyver and Hawaii Five-0.
He and the Tim Drake, and the Wonder Woman-esque character, the Themysciran.
Yeah, Donna Troy.
They work together in the afterlife. Yeah, Donna Troy. Yeah, the 3 of them work together to escape the afterlife. But I think Hawk stayed behind to let the other 2 get out.
Okay.
But still, Red Hood's died. Nightwing has died. They've all come back. It's
shit.
Come on.
Well, it is DC. You don't have to have a Lazarus pit to get back to life in DC. You just have to have a creative writer. Anyway, so we're going to have a lot going on next week. The focus is not going to be on Legends of Tomorrow as much as it's going to be on Supergirl and Stargirl, because those are going to be the season finales. And in Supergirl's case, it is the series finale.
The end of the end.
It's the end of the world as you know it, and I feel fine. No, So, it is 2 minutes to 10. I can't believe, even with technical difficulties, we came in under the wire, which we never ever do. So we're going to go ahead and cut it now while we're ahead of ourselves. Thank you for watching. You just got to enjoy Philip dancing to the miracle of life.
Yeah.
And we will catch you next week, hopefully with Greg back. We will be doing more coverage, especially as always of our media coverage, and then we'll see what else. Dune premieres this Friday on HBO Max for those who are fans of the Dune novels. I'm not particularly a fan of them. I don't like Frank Herbert, but I have watched every adaptation so far. If they get the CGI and stuff good, it'll be good as a movie on its own, at least, even if I'm not a big fan of the source material. In fact, it might even make it better for me. But it'll be on HBO Max and in theaters this Friday. So we'll be probably doing some talking about that next week. Eternals comes up in a couple of weeks.
Eternals.
So next week we'll be here for this. Then, like I said, on the following Saturday. No, not that Saturday. The next Saturday will be Extra Life Saturday. And that Saturday I will do an extra show of this on and off throughout the day as I can fill it and think up some topics to talk about. Obviously, I won't be going into the media stuff because I'll save that for our Wednesdays. But I might talk about some other stuff that we don't talk about every week. We'll see what there is. Might go through some voices. Might do all kinds of. Might talk about building dungeons and stuff. Dungeon design for Dungeons and Dragons and other role-playing games. Who knows what I'll come up with to fill the time with. Maybe I'll even do some sideshow karaoke here where I sing karaoke by request. I've done that before on the show. Gotta be careful with it, but I can try. And we'll see what's going on. Anyway, we'll catch everybody next week. Same bad time, same bad channel. And hopefully without the same bat complications.
Yeah.
Especially as when there's three of us, that adds another level of complication sometimes. But once we finally got it working, it's working. And hold your breath. Remind me next week if it's not working what I tried this week to fix it, which was setting my audio devices to default. And then in the computer, setting them to my headset, which is where they were set anyway. But we'll see what happens. And who knows, because Windows 11 still hasn't downloaded or installed on my computer. So that might change things too. Anyway.
Peace out.
Peace out. Have a great time. Remember to support Extra Life. Check out what's going on with Game as more information comes out. Because this month, next year, we're going to be at Game. Having a great time, playing some games, having some fun, and seeing everybody. Have a good night, people. May all your rolls be 20, all your fails be epic, and all your mechas shoot true.
Game over.